Harvard tracked over 29,000 men for nearly 2 decades to answer one very specific question. Does how often you ejaculate actually reduce your risk of prostate cancer? The short answer is yes. And the data reveals one of the largest modifiable risk reductions in the entire medical literature. But the exact number of times per month they discovered is something most urologists still just don't bring up in consultations. Before I give you that exact target from the Harvard data, you need to understand why this is so critical, especially for married men over 50. Because this is about much more than just a number on a calendar. The research proves that frequency alone is actually only half of the equation. It turns out that the hormonal environment surrounding the event matters just as much as the act itself. And honestly, that is the part nobody ever takes the time to explain. To make sense of this, you have to remember that your prostate is essentially a fluid-producing gland. It is constantly manufacturing prostatic fluid every single day, regardless of whether you actually use it or not. When ejaculation happens regularly, that older fluid gets cleared out, fresh fluid replaces it, and the gland stays clean and healthy. But when it doesn't get cleared, that fluid just sits stagnant inside the tissue for extended periods of time. As a result, inflammatory compounds start to accumulate, old cellular material builds up, and the environment inside the gland shifts in a way that creates a lot of cellular stress. Researchers actually call this the prostate stagnation hypothesis. And right now, it is the most widely accepted biological explanation for why frequency appears to matter so much. You can think of it like a water filter that never gets backflushed. It might keep running for a while, but the debris just keeps accumulating until the filter itself eventually starts to fail. In this scenario, regular ejaculation is the backflush your body naturally requires. It's a simple, mechanical process that is absolutely non-negotiable for long-term prostate health. But here is where the conversation gets incredibly specific to married men, and where most videos on this topic completely miss. The hormonal profile of intimacy within a committed relationship is measurably different from any other context. In fact, research comparing the post-orgasmic response in partnered intercourse versus solo activity found that prolactin, which is the satiety hormone released after orgasm, is significantly higher when you are with a partner. That higher prolactin leads to a much deeper hormonal resolution and a more complete reset of your stress axis. And crucially, we have to talk about oxytocin. Sustained physical closeness with your partner before and during intimacy triggers an oxytocin release at levels that solo activity simply cannot replicate. This matters because oxytocin is cortisol's direct biological opponent in the body. Whenever oxytocin rises, your cortisol levels naturally fall. And since chronic cortisol elevation from things like stress, poor sleep, and disconnection is one of the primary drivers of prostate inflammation, this drop is vital. So the intimacy itself isn't just clearing the gland mechanically, it is actively suppressing the exact hormonal environment that creates prostate inflammation in the first place. This means the marriage context is not incidental. It is completely biological. So, what does the target number actually look like for a man over 50 in a committed relationship? The Harvard data points to 21 times per month as the threshold where risk reduction becomes statistically massive. If you do the math, that is roughly 5 times per week. Now, I know for many men over 50, that number sounds incredibly ambitious. But honestly, it isn't meant to be a rigid prescription. Another major study out of Spain found that even moving from 0 to 3 times per month up to 4 or more times produced a measurable, significant reduction in prostate cancer risk. 4 times per month versus staying under 3 makes a massive difference. And that breaks down to just once per week. That is a completely achievable baseline for most married men, and it is more than enough to start moving the biological needle in your favor. Ultimately, the goal isn't stressing over a specific number on a calendar. It is all about consistency and regularity, ensuring the gland is being flushed on a rhythm it can rely on. And within a marriage, maintaining that rhythm also maintains the intimacy that keeps your hormonal environment, including that vital cortisol suppression and oxytocin response, working for you instead of against you. The health benefit for your prostate and the relationship benefit for your marriage really just come down to the exact same behavior. If you want the complete clinical picture on prostate health, including the 5 daily habits with the strongest research behind them, the foods silently inflaming your prostate, and a full 30-day protocol, I put together a free guide called the Prostate Protection Guide for Men over 60. It covers what the Harvard data actually means in practice and what a top urologist recommends to men who want to take this seriously. It's completely free, and you can grab it at the first link below. And if you are already dealing with prostate symptoms, like poor urinary flow, waking up constantly at night, or that lingering pressure that just won't go away, my friend Dr. Ethan Edwards put together a fantastic video that goes deep into exactly how to handle this. He breaks down the biology behind what is actually driving those symptoms and what you can do about it naturally. I have linked it below, so I highly recommend you watch that one next. As always, everything I share here is purely for research and education, not medical advice. If you have prostate symptoms or a family history, please make sure to talk to your doctor and get your PSA tested. But the habit itself, building regular intimacy within your marriage, is something you can start tonight. There is no prescription needed and no clinic visit required. I am Mika Hay. Your prostate has been waiting for this conversation. See you in the next one.